topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good afternoon, California. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. I tell you what, my audience owes me big time today. We have received so many letters from our listeners saying, how come you don't do a show on buying or selling a business? And our show has been so booked up, but we found what I consider the top business broker in the state of California. Let me welcome our new show, our new expert, Sarah Vazidi.
Thank you so much, Steve-O. I'm so happy to be with you and your listeners.
Sarah, it seems like we've been talking about this for a year, and the day is finally here.
I know, it's here.
And I got to tell you, I have so many questions for you. But first of all, before we go, tell people about yourself and about Zoom Business Brokers.
Of course. Yeah, I'm a business broker with Zoom Business Brokers. I'm also president and broker of office. So as a business broker, what we do is we sell businesses like real estate agents who sell real estate. We sell businesses. So whenever you have a house, you go to a real estate agent, ask them to help you. And whenever you have a business, you go to a business broker. And Zoom Business Broker is located in all over California. We have about 11 full-time and a couple of part-time business brokers. Our team has been selling businesses for over 25 years, so it's a lot of experience. As I said, we are all over California. We have sold some businesses outside of California, but our main activity and expertise is in the state of California. We sell different sizes of businesses and different types of businesses, including Main Street and lower middle market businesses. So Main Street business, like everything you see when you are in the community in a downtown of any city, and you see a lot of restaurants, coffee shop, different service providers like hair salon, pet shop, any type of those small businesses you see around you, there are Main Street businesses. And for lower middle market, there are businesses that are usually more than $1 to $2 million to $30 to $50 million of sales. They usually have more employees, more complicated structures, and they could be any type of business like manufacturing, distribution, large tech businesses in this size, and any type of big service businesses, so you can see all of those. So our brokers have different specialties. Some of them work on smaller size businesses, some of them work on larger size businesses. Generally, after a couple of years of working as a business broker, you find a niche that you are more comfortable with and stick to that sector. So for me, because I'm a mechanical engineer, I love doing manufacturing businesses. Also, I do a lot of financial related businesses like accounting, insurance businesses. I do a lot of contractor businesses, logistics, distribution businesses. So these are the type of businesses that each one of us work, and we are more than glad to help anyone who comes to us.
Do you get into franchises at all?
Yes. Actually, I was a franchise consultant before I became a business broker. So I do a lot of franchises as well. I know a lot about them. And, sometimes selling them, I have to tell you, is a disaster.
Yes.
Because, other than all of different things that you have to coordinate, now you have to coordinate with the franchisor as well. So it's a large headache. But yes, we do some franchises as well.
Well, I got to tell you, because we have a show that we do in Atlanta, and I never knew that Chick-fil-A actually makes you work there in the store for a few years before you can actually take over a store.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A has a completely different story. You cannot sell a Chick-fil-A. When you get into Chick-fil-A, you become a franchisee. You don't own the business, so you cannot sell it at the end. So it's a completely different, transaction they have with their franchisees, but it's a great franchisor.
Well, I got to tell you, which I never told you on the phone about 15 years ago, I had a company and I wanted to sell it. And instead of hiring a broker like I should have, I thought I could just do it myself. And it was the worst experience. First of all, there's what we call tire kickers. There were people talking to my employees. So my employees got nervous. And a friend of mine said, why don't you just get a business broker? But it took me a year to figure out that I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And when I hired a business broker, my whole life changed, because the things that I was doing that was taking me away from my business, the broker could then do that for me. And they brought me true leads. So I learned a long time ago, if you're looking at selling a business, you got to have a broker. And I'm so happy that we have your company, Sarah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, if you just do a search in the internet and look at all of these guidelines to buy a business, one of the first things that they always tell a buyer is that do not go to businesses that a business broker is selling. Go directly to the sellers, because when you are the only person negotiating with the seller, then you are, in charge of everything. But as soon as we get involved, a buyer knows that there are a lot of competitors, so he cannot say whatever he wants. There has been a lot of times that a business owner comes to us, we get involved, and we see that, oh my God, there was a buyer talking to them for 3-4 years. They have been in the business, they have seen everything, and they still don't have an LOI on the table. So,
right.
The seller got frustrated and then reached out to a broker, please help me. This person tells me that they want to buy. And you can imagine, just the last time this happened, we got involved. And when we pushed the buyer to put an offer, it was very interesting because they have asked to see some information that made it clear for the seller that these people were only looking to learn their business, copy it for themselves in another state. And then at that time, they started connecting the dot. Oh my God, he actually asked that. He had a cousin in that business. So yeah, that was what he was doing. And, the seller had let this person comes to their business looking at all of their secret in the business. So it's a lot of details that goes into managing the sale of the business. And this is something that we are doing day in and day out. So the seller is perfect in their own business, but they have never sold any business. So I think that they really need somebody who can be with them and help them make good decisions.
Well, I got to tell you, you'll laugh at this, but when I finally hired a business broker, one of the things I did not know you have to understand is patience. And so if I didn't hear from the broker like after 2 weeks, I'm calling him up going, "Did you hear anything yet? Anything go?" When I'm going to be the first person to hear if you've got something happening. But it doesn't happen usually overnight. And it takes time to find a good buyer. And that's one of the things. But tell people don't understand all that you have to do once you sign somebody to represent them.
Yeah, sure. So when we start working with somebody, the first step is usually evaluating a business. We want to find out what is the most probable selling price for the business, considering the current market situation. So we want to understand, if we put the business today in the market, what happens? What is that price? And most of the times when we get this price and we tell the seller this is the situation, we always recommend that they go and talk to their financial advisor to see if after selling this business with this price, will they have enough money to support the next stage in their life or not. I had a case that I talked to somebody who was planning to retire, and after I did the valuation, she talked to her financial advisor and came back and said, "Oh my God," she said, "that I won't have enough money after the sale of my business to live the life that I am planning. So I need to work a couple of more years in order to get there." So this is actually the first important step, because after you sell the business, you have to pay taxes, you have, different costs. So you need to consider all of those and see, considering that net number, will you be able to support the lifestyle that you have planned for or not? So if we get to a scenario that this number works for the seller, then we have to package the business.
Right.
It's really important that we can keep the sale of the business confidential. It's completely different than selling a house. When you have a house to sell, you put it in the market, it's an open house, everybody comes in, and everybody knows that this house is for sale.
Right.
For business, it's completely different. We need to keep the sale of the business completely confidential. We don't want the employees to get stressed, even landlord, customers, suppliers, nobody, because selling a business sometimes takes a year. So you don't want your employees start panicking that, "Oh my God, what happens a year from now? Will I lose my job or not?" And if they have a better, opportunity, you don't want them to leave. So that's why we make sure to arrange everything in a way that we can keep that sale confidential. And that's the reason we have to prepare different type of marketing material. We have teasers and advertisements that we use before somebody sign NDA. We use it on public website, but we advertise the business the way that nobody knows this specific business is for sale. So for example, if it's a manufacturing business, this is this type of manufacturing business located in this area based on the number of similar businesses in the area. Like a lot of times we say that it's located in Southern California. That's it, because there aren't that many number of them. So that's the first bunch of marketing material. Then we have marketing material that after somebody signs the NDA and we make sure they are qualified financially, they have related experience, then we share that bunch of information, which give them some more information, but not that many detailed information, And then we have the third batch of information, which is for the time that somebody puts an offer and they want to do the due diligence. So it takes a good amount of time and effort to prepare these three batch of information before we want to go to the market, because after we go to the market and start the process, we don't want anything to delay the process. We have a saying that says, time kills deals,
Yeah.
So we want, if somebody comes in, they're interested, we want to guide them to get to the end as soon as possible, because any kind of delay, you never know what happens, and you
Sarah,
might.
let me ask you something. How do you deal? I mean, when somebody's selling their business, it's their baby.
Yeah.
They've nurtured it for years, so they think their business is worth a lot more.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of times you have to tell them your business isn't really worth that much. And if they were trying to sell it themselves, that's one of the reasons why it didn't sell. They had it priced too high. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, actually, this is very important aspects of having a business. We had, we always say that the sellers have a kind of emotional relationship for their business that prevents them from selling it. Like, we had a business owner in our team that wanted to sell his own business, and he used another broker's help to sell that, because it's very hard as a business owner to detach yourself because of that emotion you have. But the fact is that for the buyers, your business is only a money-making machine. That's it.
Right.
They don't see any part of that emotion. And for that reason, there are a lot of problems when you get into the sale of the business, because it's like your baby, as you said, that you want to separate from. But for the buyer, it's just like a money-making machine. So I want to see the numbers. I want to make sure that it will continue making the money for me. So this conversation is very different from both sides. And I think that we are the one who can kind of make it happen from both sides, reconcile that conversation, I have to say.
And there's a lot of negotiations you have to do to make the deal fly at the end.
A lot of negotiation. And another thing is project management. We need to manage everything to get to the same point at the same time. The same example I was telling you about, that franchise, so when we are selling a franchise now, other than the SBA lender, the landlord, all of these players in this game, now we have the franchisor. So we have to arrange everything to get to the end point at the same time. If we get to the end point and we don't have one of those items, there is a big delay. And as I said, every delay, you may lose 1 year of hard work.
And you know what, Sarah? I tell you what's so amazing about your business. You do so much work up front before you realize one dime.
Yes, that's how it works. It's a lot of stress, but at the same time, I think it means that if we accept to work on a business, we really think that we would be able to sell it. Or otherwise, I don't spend my money, I don't spend my time on a business. So it's not like that I tell everybody, just come and let me sell your business. And that's one of the reasons we do that valuation at the beginning, because we don't want to do all the work and get to the point that we have a buyer and seller says, no, this is not the price that I want to sell. We want to make sure this is the price that will work for them. And only in that situation, we start working on a business.
Do you have to help them find financing sometimes?
Yeah, for most of the buyers, when they need financing, the good thing about our team in Zoom is that, as I said, we have a lot of experienced brokers. And what we do is that in our bi-weekly meeting, and we have bi-weekly lunch together, anywhere that we are local, we always share our stories and our experiences. So we share our experiences with SBA lenders as other providers as well. And there are so many SBA lenders or other type of lenders, and there are so many differences between them. There are people that you work with, they come at the beginning, they give you an offer that we will finance your deal, but after you start working with them, they give the deal to a closer and you never hear back from them. But
Exactly.
At the other hand, we have SBA lenders that bring you to the end. They are always with you whenever there is a problem. And during these many years that we have doing this, now we know who are those people. So whenever we have a buyer that needs financing, we put them in touch with one of those SBA lenders. We usually suggest them to talk to more than one, in order to be able to pick the one that they feel more comfortable working with. But yes, bringing good resources is absolutely one of the things that a business broker does for you.
Sarah, we've got a couple minutes left. Tell people who are listening or watching right now, why should I hire you?
So I want to answer first why you need to hire a business broker from Zoom Business Brokers, and then I'll tell a little bit about me. So the good thing about our team in Zoom is that we work together. Like when you start working with one of us, it's like you are working with all of us, because we share all of our listings together. We share all of our problems together. There is a lot of times that one of us has a seller, one of us has a buyer, we work together. And other than that, we have a policy that we work with all of the CAB members. We have an association called California Association of Business Brokers. There are a couple of hundred business brokers there. There are all of the best business brokers, and every week we share our listings there. So whenever we work with somebody, it's like that all of those brokers are hearing, and if they have a buyer, they might come in. So not every business broker is like that. There are a lot of business brokers, if you go to them, they are not ready to share with a buyer's agent. This is not our policy. We have an open policy. Any of the CAB members bring us a buyer, we work with them all the time. I think this is a really, really big game changer. But also, while we have all of these expertise, we also have the state-of-the-art marketing and all of these CRM system. Like right now, if I have a buyer, I'm talking to you. If somebody inquires on one of my listings, they get an email and a text with link to NDA, and they can sign it. And after my meeting, I'll go and take care of their signed NDA. They don't need to wait for me to contact them and send them link to NDA, So we have a lot of automation that helps in doing our work. So
you know what, Sarah, before they kick us off the air, give everybody your phone number.
Okay.
And your website.
Sure. 949-426-5067. And our website is www.zoombusinessbrokers.com. And you have my email under the screen also.
What a great job you did. And Sarah's going to be back with us again next month. I've got so many questions for you. This is going to be the greatest show. Sarah, thank you so much. Zoom Business Brokers.
Thank you so much, Steve.
And we'll see you all next week with more Ask the Experts. Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.